This next part's my favorite part, cause it's time to shine. Gonna do the two-step.
Hey everybody, MortgageSeth here. Wanted to give you a quick Friday update for some guidelines and some rules for if you're dealing with student loans and you're trying to get approved for a mortgage. One thing to keep in mind is that each agency and each loan program is going to have a different requirement for how student loans are treated. And I ran into this this week, and it caused some issues on some different kind of loan products that I was working on for a client. And if you take a look at the guidelines, or you're talking to your mortgage advisor about how student loans are going to affect your mortgage qualification, you have to think about what kind of mortgage program you're applying for. So first off, let's talk about FHA. When you have student loans, FHA is going to require that you use 1% of the outstanding balance that's on your student loan to calculate the qualifying payment. So what that means is that, let's say, for example, you have $100,000 in student loans, which isn't too uncommon these days. So if you have a $100,000 student loan balance and you're applying for an FHA loan, even if your loan is in forbearance and you're making zero payment, or if you're in some kind of a reduced payment plan based on your income or your employment, or you're recently graduated, what that's going to show up on your credit report and on your monthly statement is something much less than 1%. So in this example with $100,000, let's say you're making payments of $200 a month, and that's what shows up on your credit report. You have to be very careful for how you're qualifying for the mortgage, because that $200 payment is actually going to be a $1,000 payment that we have to take into consideration. So again, with this example, with a $100,000 outstanding balance, 1% of that is $1,000 a month, which really changes the debt to income ratio and the amount that you can qualify for when you're looking at a FHA mortgage. Now there's two conventional loan agencies that we work with, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and each of them have a different way to calculate what the minimum payment is. So it gets even more confusing. If you're looking at a conventional loan, what we can do, the best scenario is to use a Fannie Mae product, because that's going to allow us to use exactly what's showing up on your credit report or what's going to show up on your student loan statement. The only caveat to that is that if your loan is in deferment, then zero is going to show up on your credit report, and we have to calculate it a different way. So there's all these ifs, ands, buts, different scenarios to look at. And it's really important that you take a look at all the guidelines. You work with somebody who knows what they're doing on student loans, because even if you're looking at another type of conventional loan through Freddie Mac, they require that you use 0.5% of the outstanding balance, no matter what shows up on your credit report. So again, with this example of $100,000 in outstanding student loan debt, we would have to take a $500 a month payment into consideration when we're looking at your debt to income ratios. VA does it a different way. There's all kinds of other programs that can allow for different scenarios and different exceptions. But the bottom line is that when you're dealing with student loans and looking at the overall debt that you have on your credit report, make sure that you're giving yourself enough time and working with someone who has the right knowledge and experience to be able to help you navigate this, because it can be tricky. And depending on what kind of loan, what kind of mortgage insurance, how much down payment, all these different factors are going to affect what can happen in your qualification. And you don't want to find that out 2 weeks into the loan process that you can't qualify for something that you thought you could. So that's my tip for the day. Make sure you're talking to somebody who can help you on these things. Give me a call if there's anything I can do for you. Hit me up on any one of the social medias here, and I'll be happy to help you navigate this process. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it's important that you get the right information up front so that you don't run into problems down the road. That's it for today, and have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.